Hello and welcome to a new and important chapter of my King of the Hill tutorial. This one is one of the most advanced, so make sure to check out previous chapters first. What is metagame? I've learned this term from Venzor and I liked it. Not sure if he came up with it by himself or heard it somewhere else like me. For me, it means something like a game above the game. It means enriching your situational awareness relying on not so obvious sources of information available to you, or sometimes obvious but not used by most of the players. The first source is really obvious, but it is the base for almost everything else – kill feed. This is the main way to connect enemy soldiers you see acting on the battlefield without name tags to the actual players with names. You should look at the kill feed as much as possible, even if you don't know the enemy players, and learn as much as possible about them. You learn the most when you kill a player. Where they've been, what weapons and armor did they use, how they came to AO, how effectively did they fight you. You must try to remember all of this in connection to the name you see in the kill feed. You learn the same or a bit less while being killed yourself. But even if you do not directly participate in the fight, you can deduct a lot combining kill feed and shots you hear. Even if you are new to the server or just not play often enough to recognize players from your previous games, this information you learn will help you a lot in the course of this same game. When your teammates are being killed, you can combine kill feed with looking at the map to approximate enemy positions by markers of your dead allies. Additionally, to name, weapon and outfit of a killer, in King of the Hill a killed player learns approximate distance to the killer. This is very useful and should not be ignored. The easiest use is determining all the positions at the specified distance from which you could have been visible. Very often combined with the previous experience with the specific player you get a single position. Another, a bit more complicated use is to triangulate the possible area where the enemy could be located. This consumes time and only dangerous bush campers are usually worth it. To triangulate you need at least two references. If you've been killed once or have not been killed by the camper, ask teammates about the kill distance. For example, you have information that a bush camper is over 100 meters away from one position and over 200 meters away from another one. You draw two arcs at 100 and at 200 meters around the first point, and two arcs at 200 and at 300 meters away from the second one. Your camper should be in that area. You can further exclude covered sectors to reduce the area. You can come there from behind and slowly search. The area is usually small enough to hear suppressed shots. So what exactly should you learn and remember about your enemies and how exactly should you use it? What vehicles they prefer? How they prefer to enter the AO? Do they usually bring teammates? Where they prefer to stop? Which may be a specific position, for example a garage close to their spawn, or one relative to the priority area, for example driving into the middle or stopping 50 meters in front. As soon as the player dies, you can wait for their vehicle sound and intercept. Or you just add their entrance point in your mental situational awareness map as potentially dangerous. The next thing is what tactics they use. Building camping, bush camping, running to the priority area as fast as possible. You can counteract based on your knowledge. How high is their skill? Can you just rush and kill or will you need to prepare? Which are their favorite positions? You can find them by intersecting the set of favorite positions with kill feed and map data. What armor and weapons do they use? Throwing a grenade into a room with an up-4 player in full armor may be less effective than against an unarmored player. And knowing what specifically you are looking for helps your arc catch your target. A combination of armor and weapon can help you recognize a specific player without kill feed and act against them accordingly. You should learn how each weapon sounds, and this will allow you to recognize the player just by their shooting. Some players have a very specific pattern of shooting and can be recognized by it. For example, long burst, multiple singles or multiple short bursts. You can remember how well different players hear steps. By this you know how far you should flank them, or how close can you get before throwing a grenade into their window, or even can you get inside their house unnoticed. Snipers are usually the ones with worst hearing. Who of them are friends and play in groups? By this, after killing one of them, you can determine how many enemies are left around, and is it worth camping the corpse waiting for a revive attempt. You can also approximate how full will be the next incoming vehicle after killing the whole group. If you have time for that, you should learn and remember your teammates' habits too. You will learn how good and reliable they are as teammates, and in the next game you will most likely be enemies. Another tool, which is easily available to everyone but is not used by many, is King of the Hill status HUD in the bottom right corner of the screen. The most useful thing here is presence indicator, which shows how many players of each team are present in the AO. Priority area players are counted as 2, and when there is somebody in the priority, the indicator is yellow. This flashing from white to yellow and back can give you a lot of information about enemy positions, especially when combined with other information you have. It can, for example, help you determine exactly a position of an AFK farmer hiding somewhere in a shed. The number itself can help you determine how many players are in the vehicle you hear. Is it worth intercepting? Can it be dangerous? Now about the scoreboard. I've thought about using it for a long time, but only recently Nero has pushed me into actually starting to use it in metagame. Players always get XP and money rewards for doing different things. You can deduct different information from these bonuses. For example, you can learn is a specific player in AO or even in priority. This helps finding dangerous suppressed campers among other things. You can determine was a player a driver or a pilot of a vehicle that just came into the AO. This source is not suitable for constant use, but it is very useful for hunting specific dangerous players. Your personal relationships with enemy players also matter. Do they know you well? Can they predict your next moves or guess your position? Do you often compete? Will they try to hunt you, or will they be afraid and try to avoid you? Knowing all this also helps you adjust your actions. And the game does not stop when you are dead, driving or flying. You should always pay attention. All of this combined with map knowledge and non-metagame situational awareness information like in-game sounds and voice chat should help you have an approximate map of danger zones, safe routes and enemy positions in your head. Do I use everything I've described? Yes, but of course not always. Human attention is not infinite, and you need to select on what to concentrate. Only the most dangerous enemies require full metagame attention. But knowing and using only a fraction of this stuff can drastically improve your performance, especially with high mobility playstyles. How to fight against a player with this level of situational awareness? Be unpredictable. Use different vehicles, weapons, armor, enter the AO in different ways. Subscribe to their YouTube channels and learn how they play. Thank you for watching. The next tutorial video will be a subscriber requested one and will cover movement and stances in detail.